Relationship soap. We're going to hop into the soap framework today. With respect to our relationships, I just had this little snowman statue sitting around because I was doing some things. Actually, I've had that for, I don't know, well over a decade. But today is day 19 of our Get Up and Go challenge. I'd like to take a pause in about the middle, but we've kind of rolled right by the middle of the challenge. 30 plus day free Get Up and Go challenge. To see how we're doing, to just kind of check in and say, okay, we've gone through the soap framework a couple of times now, but since we're short on time and there's a lot to cover, and I want to just cover it in 10 minutes a day and make sure that you get just a little tidbit every day, we're going to hop right into our relationship areas and aspects of our life with respect to the soap framework. And of course, we're going to have a fun way to tell our story, to look at where we are now versus where we want to be. One of my favorite tools is something we're going to talk about today. And I didn't add it until later in the year last year. I think probably October time frame. Might have done it before then, but I don't remember exactly. So the first thing we need to do whenever we're looking at a big area and aspect of our life is decide what relationship are we going to apply the soap framework to? What relationship do we want to be different than it is right now? And so there's lots of different types of relationships we have, right? We have friendships like our little snowmen. We have intimate relationships. We have, family relationships, familiar relationships, our family, and our family is different for each and every one of us. Some people have parents that are still living. Some people have kids. Some people don't have kids. Some people have grandkids. I have granddaughters. I absolutely adore my granddaughters. And I think I went through one of the previous challenges with my daughters. Then I did my sisters, because I come from a family of all girls, and there's always some interesting dramatic dynamics in girl families. So I did my sisters. I think I even did my ex-husband, or intimate relationships. I did hiring an assistant, bringing a new person onto my business team. I did my mom. I did, as far as going through the challenge, thinking of my relationship with my mom, because my dad passed away, 6 years ago now. So our sons, our daughters, our sisters, our brothers, our friends, our acquaintances. I think I might have even done work acquaintances or something through one challenge. But this time, I decided I'm going to take on a whole new category, a whole new group of people that we usually don't want to have a relationship, people that we don't like, and people that don't like us. So people that don't like us, our enemies, our competitors, our frenemies, our nemesis, our haters. If you're online, you know what I mean by haters. If you're offline, you have haters, but you don't know about them as much as if you're online and you have haters because they're right in your face. So people that are normally a challenge, or that we don't want to have anything to do with, those are the people that I'm going to go through the soap framework with for this time through the soap framework. Why? Because I've never done it, and I thought it would be not only fun for me, but educational in terms of, well, am I handling these situations to the best of my ability? Well, if I run them through the soap framework, I know that from now on that I will. So pick a relationship that you want to work on. Maybe it's, your kids, your mom, your dad, your sisters or siblings, your significant other, you're not in a relationship and you want an intimate relationship. Whatever it is, pick that relationship, and this is the tool we're going to apply to it to apply the soap framework. We want to get to know what is our situation in that particular relationship. What is our story right now? What is our current story? What is our current story right now? So I'll think about and share using our tool, the imaginary friend tool, to describe and identify the different components and pieces that are critical and important to me in my current situation, my current story. Then I'm going to use the imaginary friend exercise again to describe and imagine and think about and find all the critical pieces and important aspects of my desired situation. What do I really want the situation to be like when it comes time to handling difficult people? We all need to know how to handle difficult people, right? Sometimes we're a difficult person, but we don't have to worry about other people handling us. We just have to worry about handling ourselves. Now, what if you are that difficult person? I actually did this through one time using my relationship with myself. So it applies to anything, any relationship that you can possibly imagine, you can use the soap framework on. So what's this imaginary friend exercise? Well, when I was young, I had an imaginary friend, and I don't know if many people admit this, but I had an imaginary friend. His name was George. He was a sea captain, and he actually lived in my closet. We moved into not a spooky old house, but a big old farmhouse out in the country. It's out in the country back then. Now it's the hospital and it's in the city. But when I was a little girl, I was 8 when we moved out there. We moved from in the city, in town, out to the country, to this big old crickety house with radiator heat that banged and made all kinds of crazy noises. And actually did have some ghostly presences because a girl had died in my parents' bathroom. She drowned. She had an epileptic seizure and drowned. And so there were definitely spirits and stuff going on with that house. And my sisters and I were a little nervous about it. So there were weird sounds in my closet. So I decided that it was my imaginary friend George who lived in my closet. Come to find out at my dad's funeral 6 years ago that he too, when he was younger, had an imaginary friend named Albertson Roberts. Now, I don't know where he came up with the name Albertson Roberts, but for years he had a little imaginary friend named Albertson Roberts. I think it was because his brother was 8 years older than he was, and he had all his sisters. He had 5 sisters, and he was the youngest for a while. And so his older sisters tended to overly mother and protect him, and so he created this friend Albertson Roberts to do his own thing. So our exercise today is to, if you had an imaginary friend, have a conversation in your head, of course, with this imaginary friend about your current situation and your desired situation. Or actually call up and talk to a real friend, or just talk to yourself about it and get clear on the important components of what your story is right now and what you want it to be. Because we want to really identify where we are and where we want to be so we can start filling in that gap with the rest of the soap framework. We've done this a few times before, and we're going to do it a few more so that it just becomes second nature to us. We don't have to actually use a tool to break it down unless it's a big thing. It'll just happen automatically for you like it does for me now. So our action item today is to do this. Do this activity. It won't take but a few minutes. You can do it really fast. Depending on how much detail you want to add to your stories, you can do it, in a minute or two. And then just share in the comments below, how did it feel to do this particular exercise and what relationship you're working on. If we don't need names or anything, just, hey, a sibling, my mom, my dad, my cousin, my coworker, my significant other, whatever you want to say, just share what relationship you're working on. I'm going to call mine enemies. I'm working on my enemies relationship. So what's yours? Share that in the comments below. Any questions, if you want more detail on how you would talk to your imaginary friend, hit me up and we'll discuss it one-on-one. Otherwise, have an awesome day. This is, again, like I said, it's one of my most freeing and fun visualization activities, and it helps me to really identify that gap, which is, once I know there's a gap and I really clarify that gap, it gives me more energy to fill it. I hope that it has the same effect on you. All right, have a great day. I will be with you tomorrow. Bye.